Oh man, this is gonna be fun here in the upper left in the blue. He's from Team Liquid. He's playing Protoss this time because why the hell not? It's Clem. And in the bottom right in the red, he's playing for Basilisk. Rocking out on that Terran. It's Reynor. EPT Cups are often a fun time of experimentation, of figuring out what is good, how you're gonna play in the next big tournament, maybe trying a style. And in a tournament that matters, you get some EPT points, not a ton, but some, and there's a prize pool there, but it's not as high stakes. And then you have the players who are already confirmed for the World Championship. There is no world where they don't go to the World Championship. So for now, we're already having some discussions here about how game number 2 is going to happen. For right now, though, this is going to be in game number 1. Clem is going to play his Protoss, and Reynor's going to play his Terran, which I think I actually favor Reynor a little bit. I don't know a ton about Clem's off-race Protoss, as well, we don't see him do it all that much, but we do know that Reynor's Terran is actually really solid. He has taken matches off max packs, for example. He has taken it pretty closely to Hero Marine. So from that perspective, nice block, Reynor says, because of course the natural was not blocked. But point being is that this is, I truly have no idea what's going to happen here. It is a best of 3. Again, EPT points don't matter for these two. Prize money doesn't even matter as much. Because again, you know, if you're winning, like, if you're Clem and you have the E5L, as they're calling it, you've won 5 EPT regionals and you do well, and you're supported by Team Liquid, what's $100? That being said, though, we are moving into this game, and for now, well, standard openers for the most part coming out of both players here. It's a Reaper expand coming out of Reynor and Clem. Well, we're gonna have to see. Yeah, we do see now what he's going for, as he's got a Twilight on the way. I'm sorry, I just realized that we are horrible at the thing, and every time I tell myself I need to put this back, I never do. There we go. Anyway, point being here is that this is going to be Twilight. This is going to be a set of openers, I think, from both players that is going to try to capitalize on just how freaking fast they are. You go Twilight, you go Blink. If you're Clem, I mean, Clem has got to be the fastest Terran that we have in Starcraft. So to see that happen, well, that's going to work out pretty nicely for him. And Reynor, well, I still don't know what he's going to do just yet. For right now, it's a 1-1-1, though. And the Reaper just trying to be obnoxious, dancing around, but for now, Adept's gonna try to chase it down. No vision from the high ground, though, so the Reaper stays alive. And this Adept is, well, there are 2 of them now, 3 Marines and a Reaper that is low. This actually is a bit of a problem here coming out of Reynor early, but there are more reinforcements. So, well, 2 Adepts versus 3 Marines absolutely goes the way of the 2 Adepts. You add in a Hellion, you add in a couple more Marines, you add in those reinforcements, you're okay. So Reynor, I was going to say setting up the surround, but no, seems like getting ready to run across the map here, and that will force the Stalker back home. I think that's important to point out here. Clem really was trying to rally across, really trying to lean into Reynor and trying to force as much, well, pain as possible. But by getting the Reaper and the Hellion onto the other side, it forces the Stalker back home. And that means that we won't see this snowballing action that sometimes you see when it's like, yeah, I have these early game units and I can run across the map and kill my opponent. So for now, Reynor gets a probe, and oh man, KD8 charge almost gets the second one. But now we have a Widowmine drop on the way. Well, eventually, it's not here yet, but that Widowmine drop is a single Widowmine. It's not insane amount. It's not 2, it's not 3, it's not 4. Reynor is kind of doing the bare minimum to put some pressure on while he gets ready, while he tries to scale into the mid game on the other side. But Clem is getting ready to move out right now. He's on 4 gateways. Blink is halfway done. Well, more than halfway done. He's got that, well, he's got the War Prism as well. Clem is getting very ready to put a lot of pressure on the map right here. And Reynor, while his bunker's not done yet, he has, what is that? He's got a single tank. It's in the main base here. Adept Shades on top sees where that tank is, and there might be a timing. where Clem makes something happen here. So behind this, Reynor thinking about getting that third base eventually. But, well, for Clem, excuse me, getting that third base eventually. But for right now, it's all about the warp ins, and it's all about this drop. Clem, how much attention are you paying? The shoes on the other foot, and Clem loses 7. But on the other side, he gets the tank here. Stim is only just now getting started, and Clem has 2 blinks. That's important here with the Warp Prism and Blink itself. There is so much damage mitigation that he can find in this army. Gotta be careful, though. Second tank pops out, and he will lose a Stalker or 2. That's not what he wants. And he did have to warp in at least 1 Stalker at home, so there is that. But for now, more Stalkers thinking about warping in here. Vision on the high ground. There's the Observer that's there, so the tank, it's not sieged, and Clem's just gonna get on top of it. Yeah, tank is dead. Viking shows up, it's dead as well. Not really mitigating the damage here as more SCVs will continue to go down, but Clem's micro is not perfect. He is losing more Stalkers than I think it's only been 4 Stalkers, I guess, in fairness. But you feel like he could have survived a little bit more, as on the other side, the Warp Prism is dealt with. So Reynor now in a bit of a dire straits here. One bunker goes down, second one is gonna fall here as well. And now the natural's broken. More SCVs are gonna have to get pulled here. Stim still not done. It's another 20 seconds out, and the SCV count is just precipitously falling here, coming out of Reynor. He just doesn't have much of an economy anymore. Yeah, +1 done in 10 seconds. Stim done in 10 seconds. But now Clem leans in on these Marines. No medevacs, no tanks, no life coming out of Reynor in this game. At the very least, tanks on the high ground, they're not even sieged. They will fall. And everything is dead here. This build is nuts. Clem takes a page out of Max Packs. He takes game 1. On the bottom right now, in the red, rocking that Terran once again. For Basilisk, it's Reynor. And of course, in the upper left, in the blue, but he's playing Zerg this time, playing something a little bit different. He's for Team Liquid. It's Clem. Sometimes we are just blessed. But of course, as we get deeper into this series, I would like to remind you all that if you want to watch, well, Clem and Reynor and Max Pax and Cyril and Maru and Bian and all of these awesome players, and occasionally Clem playing Zerg and Reynor playing Terran, well, you should sub to the channel, because pretty much every single day there's gonna be a best of 3, a best of 5, a best of 7 going up with all of these top names, all of these awesome series. And I can pretty much guarantee you that at least one game in every single series is gonna be top tier, or at the very least, it's gonna be something odd, like Reynor playing as Terran and Clem playing as Zerg, and that's fun anyways. So for now, well, again, sub to the channel, like the video, because Forgate apparently, according to Reynor, is Zimba against his Terran. And let me know, is Forgate actually broken? Is it just because they're off racing and Reynor's not quite as familiar with how to hold it? I don't know. Let me know. But this is cool here. Reynor showing us that he is very familiar with the meta. If his Terran here knows how to open up against Zergs. He's going double Reaper opener against Clem, which is definitely a build that Clem plays. But this is one of those scenarios where, as a Terran, I feel like you should be watching what Reynor's doing. Maybe not because he's the best. He's good. He's real good. His off races are better than a lot of people's main races. But more importantly, you want to know how to beat Zergs. I would argue that watching Reynor's Terran's a really good way to do it. For one reason, is that you know that Reynor is going to try to abuse whatever he struggles with, and there we go. Third base gets canceled. Oh, yeah, he gets it. He gets it. He's just going to try to abuse whatever he finds broken, and in that case, apparently, seems like Reynor might think that this 2-Rax Reaper opener is just really strong, and he's going to go for it and deny the third base. Clem a little slow on the drone there, so already nice opener for Reynor here. He denies the third base for quite a while now. I mean, we're going to have to wait really until speed is done for this to really bear fruit, and that's Clem is doing the standard Zerg opener. It's not delayed clash. It's nothing like that where you go and really you have a 4-minute speed. Now this is 330. This will allow him to get a third base eventually, and of course Reynor behind this, he's not going for 6, for 8, for 11 Reapers. He's sticking at 3. It's a lot of damage. It is a lot of pressure at 2-shot slings and 2-shot drones. But behind this, he went double command center. He is being very greedy behind this. He really puts himself in a great spot in this early game. And now, oh, he's not going to dive on top. Yeah, he's not going to dive on top. He thought about it, but only 1 shot on the drone. And now the Reapers will fall down. Here they find themselves trapped into a corner. So the Reapers are dead. They fall down. But this is a Zerg that is now finding himself 4 minutes, like 340 in when his third base gets taken, which is just not, it's not what you're looking for. But of course, Clem's taking a page out of Cyril's book, maybe. Now it's a little different. There's no Roach Warren on the way. So that is something that we do have to pay attention to. It will be Ling or Ling Bane eventually kind of on this follow-up, but there is a very quick layer going down. And is there a world where we just see an infestation pit go down pretty much as this layer completes? Do that quick ultra idea that we saw Reynor or that we saw Cyril do against Maru when Maru opened very similarly in this matchup? Be kind of cool. I'd be all for it, but okay, it's gonna be Baneley Nest going down, Evo down. Come on, Clem. Show us that infestation pit. Get yourself 150 gas. Drop that thing. I want to see that. I want to see that infestation pit before 5 minutes. That would make me very happy. But for now, it's just he has to pump a bunch of links because these Marines are active on the map and they have stim. They don't have combat shields. They don't have +1. They don't have medevacs, but they did force a lot of units there out of Clem, which is just really good for Reynor. Reynor's only down 3 SCVs at 5 minutes into this game. That is really significant, but we're not going to see the quick infestation pit. Unfortunately, it will be quick Baneley speed, which is nice against any sort of pressure from the Terran. Baneley speed is just really, it's one of those things where, yeah, well, I'm not even gonna say yeah, it adds 5 HP to every Baneley, which is massive. It's one of the big changes that have kind of flown under the radar in the upcoming balance patch. But on top of that, the ability to get on top of your opponent's Marines, Marauders, whatever, really the Marines, is really powerful. So Baneley speed's going to be done by about 6:30-ish. 7 minutes, which is going to be more than enough time for whatever push comes out from Reynor in that. For the first big push coming out of Reynor. But Clem behind this, he's got Carapace on the way. That is much slower. There's no second Evo. There's no attack upgrades. And his 4th base is only just now getting started. So the 4th base is kind of delayed. His upgrades are, his +1 Carapace is going to be ahead of the bio upgrades, but +1 attack. There's no second Evo. So this is not one of those setups where you just gotta get the second Evo and go from there. Just delayed a little bit. No, it's going to be heavily delayed here. But Baneley speed done in 3, 2, 1. Baneley speed is done here, but there's a single Baneley on the map, and Reynor should be able to target this one down. A little bit of a mismicro there. He moved commands quite a bit and loses a medevac as well. So Reynor will lose a lot more than he would have liked there. It's funny, I got excited because I'm used to, wow, there's only a single Baneley. That's 16 Marines. This feels very doable. And then Reynor gets targeted. His medevac gets targeted down. He moved commands, his bio just a little bit, so they're not fighting. They're just moving as the Lings kill them. And then he lost a medevac. He lost 8 Marine. He lost 10 supply of the push just from the medevac out of the sky. So maybe Reynor's TVC is not quite to the caliber of Bjorn's or Clem's. Maybe. But he's still, I mean, make no mistake about it, he still is in a really, really solid position there with how much damage he got done early, with how much, well, just how good his economy is more than anything else. As another Baneley gets targeted down. This time, the medevacs will stay alive. And now that second Evo's down. Now 1-1 is on the way. It's going to be very desynced, but it's still going to happen. Is we have Hydra speed on the way here as well. Clem moving into the mid game. Hydraling Bane is going to be the play. He's going to have Burrow as well, which I love. That including Burrow in a late game Zerg, or really just a mid game Zerg army, is such a powerful idea. Burrow is not that expensive of an upgrade, and it means that your harassment can be really good. It means that you can burrow banelings and hit baneling bombs and be really nicely. I love that Reynor is just targeting like a single baneling down at a time. And like every time he gets one baneling, picks up, goes away. It's awesome. But anyway, so you can burrow banelings for baneling bombs. You can get lings in for harass and force scans on top of the harassment. You can just burrow lings across the map and get yourself vision. You can deny bases. It's such a powerful technique, and it's one that really, it feels like over the last year or so, maybe year, maybe 2 years, we're seeing it more and more. Like it feels like a rather modern thing that we're seeing Zergs do that they didn't really make use of as much before, and it really is this powerful piece of tech. But for now, Infestation Pit just about done, so we should see Hive getting started very quickly. Groove Spine's on the way for Hydra range. +1 attack is done in 10 seconds. Gonna be interesting to see here whether we get +2 melee or +1 ranged off of this. But for now, we've upgrade parity. Clem, Reynor have the same upgrades, and now Reynor's gonna push through the middle of the map here. The creep's gonna get cleaned up pretty quickly. Yeah, the link counterattack gets a couple SCVs, but not going to do all that much. It's not like the fourth base was killed. Just a couple SCVs going down here. And now Reynor, this is a big army. And the banelings, they're just not there. So Reynor's going to get on top of them. A couple banelings get targeted down very quickly. On the backside, that Ling run by is doing a great job of dealing with some. Actually, I think he's going to get all the tanks there. But that was still a pretty solid trade out of Reynor. He got so many Lings, so many banelings, so many Hydras as well. And the drop in the main base in the natural, 7 drones go down. So Reynor, he's having his cake and eating it too. He's up 30 army supply. He's up 5 workers. And as he promised in game number 1 in that all chat, he's showing Clem how it's done here. He's showing Clem how you actually play some TVZ. At the very least, when you're playing your opponent's off race. So Reynor now stems on top of this 5th base here. There are a lot of banelings and realistically not a lot of splash. Reynor trying to split back as well as he can. Still eats a lot of baneling shots, but there is not a lot of follow-up at the end of the day here. The army is still small. This 5th base is dead. There really is not going to be any saving it, and 2-2 is done. +1 ranged off the way, very slow. +2 not done. So Reynor he's up 2 upgrades. He's up 3. He's got +1 back attack as well. And this game really just does continue to snowball for Reynor at this point. Now he's got his 4th base done on location, planetary on the way. 1 medevac will go down, but it seems like there's still enough medevacs to get out here. The target fire on the banelings because Reynor just wants to show off. He will lose another medevac though, and maybe a 3rd. No, he's okay. But it still does lose a medevac or 2, and that's not ideal. But he by golly, he got those banelings. He killed them. There we go. That's all that matters. Here's now Liberators are going to show up, but Hydras in low enough numbers and low enough Liberator numbers, Hydras actually deal with Liberators fairly nicely. That's when you start to get up to it's when there's an army beneath it that it starts to become a little bit more difficult. But now the drop in the main base once again picks up, runs away. And another medevac goes down. Well, no, sorry, that's the drop on the left side still. Medevac goes down. So this has been, I mean, this is 8 and 10 medevacs over the course of this game. 100 Marines. Reynor, again, he's been in this really solid spot, but it seems like his biomicro is just a little bit, it's not as sparkling as Clem's, is maybe the best way to talk about that. As he's trying to be fancy. He's trying to show off for the fans. And sometimes that doesn't work out quite as well as just playing really solid fundamental Terran. That being said, again, still in a pretty solid position here, still up about 1,000 resources or so, really less than that. but still, you know, up a decent amount of resources, finding himself in just all manners of small advantages. And I think the big time here is going to be that 3-3, when he's going to be able to get that significant upgrade lead, because for right now, tanks, well, they're not going to get the Bailey shots they want. Not yet. Not yet. But there's going to be a bit of a bulkhead here as the Marauders run forward, and this is prime tank damage potential as the Baileys, they're going to go down the ramp here. Reynor just sticks it. He sticks the position here, and there is no world where Clem was going to be able to take that fight. He thought he had the surround. This is the most common mistake that Zerg will ever make. They say, I have a good surround. I have lots of Banelings. I can take the fight. Well, you're into a choke there, my friend, and there are tanks, and there's a bit of an upgrade lead for the Terran. That's how you lose a game. That's how you take a game that was very even. 1,000 resources in the good there coming out of Reynor. That's very even for a 12-minute TVZ. And now it's 5,000 resources in the good for Reynor here. Just all of a sudden, everything falls down because the Vipers weren't in that fight. They could not blinding cloud the tanks out, and now we're gonna have blinding clouds, but the tanks don't even die all that quickly. Reynor is just really starting to run away with the game at this point. This army on the right side is gonna kill all the queens, and the medevacs boost a little bit too far forward because it's easy to do, but the Banelings will all fall down. Now it's just Hydras here. Clem has to tap out, and Reynor, he's gonna tie it up here in this off race best of 3 semifinals, this off race semis. And now the question, what do we see in that game 3? What races do Clem and Reynor play in the final match, in the rubber match of this series? In the upper right, in the blue, going back to Old Faithful a little bit. He's for Team Liquid, back on Protoss. It's Clem. Out of the bottom left, in the red for Basilisk. Let's see if we can hold on this time. It's Reynor. So game 1 in this series, we saw Reynor rock his Terran, and Clem showed us just how powerful his Protoss could be. He hit us with that 4-gate blink timing, and he just killed Reynor. In Reynor's words, that build is so strong. But we are going to see things a little bit different in this game number 3 here. It's going to be a proxy Reaper play coming out of Reynor. It's not proxy 2 racks, nothing like that, but it is a little bit of pressure early on, just trying to find ways that he can make Clem feel uncomfortable. Now, I don't know how successful he's going to be, but he is going to try. And for Clem, the question on top of that is game 1. Game 1 was 4-gate blink. Really solid, won the game. No surprises there. That's a really good build, especially when you play max packs pretty much every day and that gets done to you. It makes sense. Does he do it again in game number 3 here? Does he do something a little bit more defensive? If he decides to go Stargate off of this Cyber, he's going to be in such a good spot. I talked about this being Proxy Reaper because double gas and only single barracks. This is Proxy 111 slow Marauders. This is a mood coming out of Reynor right now. This is a build. This is Reynor just pulling out all the stops. Just, oh my. And this is not going to be Stargate, by the way. Warp Gate is getting started. This is going to be a Twilight opener. Most likely, there's a world where maybe this is just a quick robo. Okay, Reynor, drop the armory. Just run Burrow to Widow Mines into your opponent. Come on, Reynor, drop the armory. Drop the air. Yeah, he's dropping the armory here. And Clem won't know. Clem, the probe can't find its way back to the main base once again. This Stalker's dead. It's gonna find the slowing Marauders with concussive shells. Now, here's the question. What did Clem find? He didn't see the structures. He doesn't know that this is more than just Proxy Marauder. Now, the Widow Mine will show. So now Clem's going to have some idea that, yes, this is more than just Proxy Marauder. And that's going to be a robo on the way. Okay, so he will eventually have an answer to the cloak here. His probes are going to get pulled, but Let's go. There we go. Trying to target the Widow, trying to get the Widow Mine there, but of course gets pulled off just a little bit, just under a Rebirth Micro coming out of Clem, or excuse me, coming out of Reynor. I'm used to Clem being the Terran. But as more Widow Mines join the fray here, you got to get damage on top of them. Is it going to go down? No. Probe gets deputized, goes down. And now Reynor knows that, yes, this is in fact, or excuse me, Clem knows that, yes, this is in fact cloaked Widow Mines. Another probe sent down on the low ground here, just trying to eat shots, but won't do so, not just yet. Stalkers and Adepts are going to try to target this down. They will get it, but a Stalker falls here as well. Now more Stalkers will get warped in. We have an Observer on the way. That's going to be really important to make sure that you can see these Widow Mines. Probes are going to get pulled here. That's a problem, but oh my goodness, last second split's going to be okay. Another Widow Mine, massive shot there. 12 workers go down. And now Clem, 14 workers to the 24 of Reynor. I was worried about the probe pull. So many probes clustered on top of that Widow Mine, but the Widow Mine died. Problem is, the other Widow Mines didn't. That's 12 dead workers. That's a big problem. Clem's economy is not... Clem's economy is just not good. So another Widow Mine's going to burrow up. This time, shouldn't get anything. The Observer will join his way over, and this is the end of the pressure coming out of Reynor. But it'd be hard to argue that Reynor didn't find value. Now, the thing we have to consider is that as much worker damage as was done, this was 13 dead probes off of a Protoss economy that was below 30 probes. As tempting as it is to say that, well, Clem is just dead, not really. He's got double Nexus. The natural never died. So he can build 2 probes at a time. And on top of that, there is nothing on the other side of the map for Clem, or for Reynor, at all. If Clem wanted to run across the map and put a lot of pressure on, he could. But it seems like he's not going to, not for now at the very least, until he decides to move out. And that, if he just beelined across, I think he could have won the game. Realistically, there was just no army. There was no production. There was no army. He might still be able to do so, as we have a Warp Prism on the map here. It's just a 3-gate. It's just a 3-gate. But that means that you can just you can avoid, you can outmaneuver that bunker on the low ground with Marauders inside that kill your Stalkers. You can just elevate her into the high ground. And there's not a whole lot that Reynor can do to stop it. So for now, Reynor, the bunker, is going to get attacked at first glance. And, well, it's just going to go down. The Marauders have to run away here. One Marauder will fall. There's a Viking, though, and that is something. It does put damage on this medevac, but damage already getting done. There's the Observer on the high ground. So the Viking can't zone nearly as well as it would like here, and more Stalkers are going to warp in. This natural command center is going to start to get low. It's going to start to burn in just a second. So that's actually a lot of damage here. SCVs are going to have to repair this. Stalkers can't quite get in range. But now, oh, Stim is going to get threatened here. SCV should be able to repair this, but this forces the Marauder out of the bunker as this happens. So it's a devil's bargain. Do you lose the Marauder there, or do you lose Stim? So the Observer will fall, and that's not exactly what you're looking for, but it does force, well, I mean, there's still high ground vision, and the Stim is still under threat. More SCVs continue to fall, Marines as well, and the Viking's dead, so, well, the Warp Prism can just, yeah, the Raven's dead as well here. Warp Prism can just sit there. There is no anti-air. Reynor is dead. That was a fun build coming out of Reynor, but it's Clem that's going to move on to the finals here of EPT Europe. But that was fun. Off-race shenanigans, always a good time. Clem, 2-1.